Hey class, we are going to learn about similar polygons and their characteristics. Here's the other things over the next few short videos that we're going to be learning about. So let's just dive into what is similar. So similar polygons, I have a few groups of similar polygons here. These two shapes in here are similar. Similar basically means same shape, but not necessarily the same size. So these two shapes are similar. These any circles in the world, they're always similar because obviously they're the same exact shape and they're different sizes. Here's two equilateral triangles. They're same shape, different size. And here's another triangle in the world. That's an obtuse triangle, but those two obtuse triangles are what we call similar because they have these two characteristics. All of these groups of shapes, they have these two very important characteristics. The first one says what? All of the corresponding angles are congruent. So notice I use color a whole lot when I'm teaching similar because things have to match up. So notice this angle is matching up with this angle. This angle over here is matching up with that angle. That one's matching up with that one. That one's matching up with that one. In fact, this is a weird case, like all the angles are just all the same, but all the angles have to match up. So notice in this example, look, this angle is matching up with this one. We have another angle down here that's matching up with that one. They're corresponding. And this last set in here, all three angles have to be congruent. So the second very important characteristic is all the corresponding sides, all the matching sides have to be, not congruent, but proportional. Well, what does proportional mean? Well, that means they all have the same exact scale factor. So notice the scale factor between these two is 2 because 10 divided by 5 is 2. So I'm doubling the 5 to get to the 10. And I'm doing that for not just that side, but for every single side. Same thing over here, but the scale factor is not 2. It is 3 because I'm taking 21 divided by 7, and it's 3. And notice 21 divided by 7 is 3, and 21 divided by 7 is 3. So that scale factor is 3. All of them are 3, making them all proportional. And the last one down in here, look, this side is 8, this side is 4, that scale factor is 2. 14 divided by 7, that scale factor is 2. That's not good enough. We need all the sides, all the corresponding sides. So 10 divided by 5, that scale factor 2. So ding, 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 all of the corresponding sides are proportional. So if we don't have these two ingredients, if we have one without the other, it's not good enough. To be a similar polygon, we need all corresponding angles to be congruent, all corresponding sides to be congruent. Make sure all these are going in your notes. Okay, let's take a look at some notation. What is notation? Notation is basically how we symbolically represent in like a shortcut kind of way. So they are telling us right down here that these two polygons are similar. Now they left this little bar out right here, but I'm going to put a bar on top right there. That's how you're going to see it in the future. So this is saying, look, this polygon ABCD is similar to polygon WXYZ. And this is what we call a similarity statement. If you're asked on the test to write a similarity statement, it's going to look like this. Now, the order of this notation in here is absolutely critical. It's telling you these two letters match up, A and W, and notice A is between blue and green, W is between blue and green. Those two angles are going to be congruent because that's one of the characteristics of similarity. The corresponding angles are congruent. Well, same thing in here. B and X are going to be congruent. Notice two tick marks, two tick marks. So this is how we notate that. Angle B is congruent to angle X. And the same for C and Y, and the same for D and Z. So notice C matches up with Y, and D matches up with Z. It is code red critical. You are lining up all of the letters in the right order. Now, having said that, I could have written this similarity statement B, C, D, A but then it would have looked like X, Y, Z, W. The integrity of the order of the letters, excuse me, how they match up is still the same. Notice B is still matching up with X and A is still matching up with W. So please be very sensitive to how they match up. So that's your introduction to similarity. Polygons, all corresponding angles are congruent, all corresponding sides are congruent, and this is how, oh, excuse me, I forgot to notate the sides in here. Notice we have all of these ratios. Remember we learned from last class that this is a ratio, that's a ratio, that's a ratio, and that's a ratio. And congruent ratios are what we call proportional. So notice I've color-coded in here. Notice AB is the first two letters, and they're going to match up with WX, and that's exactly what we wrote here. BC is the next group of letters. Notice BC is over here, and that is matching up with XY. So here's BC, 12, and that matches up with 4. The next group is CD. Right there is matching up with YZ. Right there, CD is matching up with YZ right there. And the last one is true. Notice we have some numbers for the scale factor here. Notice the scale factor of 15 divided by 5 is 3, 12 divided by 4 is 3, 21 divided by 7 is 3, 18 divided by 6 is 3. That's why we have 3/1, because the top set of letters is coming from the bigger group. The bottom set of letters is coming from the smaller group. So it's 3/1. Okay, let's check out the next one.